Welcome back to the Virgo Channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for you. Know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed. Always interpret the message as it best resonates. Also know that I like to go deep within my reading. So we look at everything. We look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play out as karmic themes, as well as everything else. And if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you're going to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the word of the video in your comment bar. Now, the word of the video is always the underlining energy that is where spirit tells me where to start the reading. It also explains why everyone is doing, why everyone's doing, right? It's usually speaks of the true self, not the ego part of self, like when people try to create a facade and make you perceive that they're there, the facade. This is, again, what they really feel. All right, now, the word of the video, let's see what it's going to be. And you'll know if I chose you, if I wrote the word winner underneath. It usually takes me a few days to pick. I'm still waiting on a few people to answer, and if they don't answer by the middle of next week, I said I'm gonna choose new people, and then they can re-enter. All right, so the word of the video is resentment. Resentment. Well, I feel like I feel like there was a part of you that was really resentful towards the person that you're connected to because you felt like you were toyed with. You also feel like part of this resentment isn't even like because of this person that you're connected to. It's because they awaken a wound where you feel like you're never picked. It feels like everyone else's feelings, their priorities, everything comes before yours. That always seems to be the theme. And I feel as if you're dealing with someone that has a lot of feelings for you, but they're not a strong person. And so the resentment that I really feel like you said, is understand you're mirroring each other, but really it's you. And it's you because you're like, you know what? I'm just tired of this energy of like being with people that, don't give. They always look over my feelings, always look over my, my priorities. They happen to not hear it, or there's always an excuse on why they can't come through, almost as if you're continually attracting emotionally not available people. And so again, the energy is resentment, but I also feel like your person that didn't show up for you is also a weak person. And they're a weak person because they've been in bad relationships. And so they don't really try. They don't try. So there's a sense they can't really ever really have a good relationship. So they're a little bit resentful too, because they feel like, what did you want me to do? What did you want me to do? What do you want me to chase you? What do you want me to say? Like, almost like you triggered their wounds. Again, where their theme is you never show up, you're not strong enough, you don't have a backbone. You let whoever has the strongest personality um, is allowed to manipulate you. And there's a sense that with me, you act like you don't care, though. With me, you act arrogant, but with everybody else, you don't really act that way. So again, we see this is what the resentment like is. And so we're gonna take a peek and see again what your person, whether we can build on this energy or not. I mean, we could always build on it, but see which way it's gonna go through looking at some hidden truths and pulling some other cards. All right. It's time for me to heal now. I feel like this is a reoccurring theme, like I said, with your person, and also for you. Also for you, where you're like, I'm tired of feeling resentful. I'm tired of feeling like full of resentment and and you know that you can't change this person. So there's a part of you that is thinking about how, like how you handle the situation, because there is love, there is like a connection between you and this person. It's just as I said, I feel like the divine has brought this person into your life to literally awaken your wound. So it comes across almost like, oh sure, with me you act like um it's not a big deal and that I'm strong enough, and almost like I have to pay the penalization because I am strong enough, but really you're the one that's not strong. And so this person is also in a place of healing because they're like, I don't really want to be seen as someone that dumps everything onto the other person, and also as someone that's weak. That is really what bothers this person. They're like, I don't want to be seen as weak. So I feel like, again, this connection has brought a lot of healing, but you're in separation right now. I'm grateful for the spiritual lessons. So again, they realize that you're in their life for like a bigger purpose. And the reason why is because you trigger their wounds. Normally they would be like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with this. But the thing is, there's still all this attraction. There still is this desire for them to have you in their life. There's still like, again, the energy of unconditional love where they can't control it. Like normally they've heard this person would be like, you aggravate me. I don't want to deal with someone that aggravates me. And either would you. So there's a sense that there is like a bigger reason why you and this person are together. That's all like a knowing from a clairsentient. Again, and why I look over here and I see wisdom, and that's really wisdom is that God part of self, that higher self, that part of ourself that is all knowing. And like you said, it's the energy of the universe, it's the energy of God, it's the energy that connects us to each other. The energy when you meet your soulmate that you say, oh, then you feel familiar. When you meet a person within your soul family, you're like, hey, I recognize you. I understand um, your energy. I didn't need to maybe recognize your face, but I recognize your energy, and that is comforting to me. And there's a knowing, and that's again the wisdom. It's a right brain wisdom. It's of again the that universal energy, that spiritual energy that everyone's saying, okay, well, I realize that there's a bigger reason why you're in my life, even though this doesn't logically make sense. And possibly you even say, I would never even choose this person. You're not even my type. I normally like dark hair and dark skin, and you have light skin. And, just different things. And the same thing, like where this person says, you don't look that great on paper because you're a free spirit. And so you have a job that is different, and maybe you work different hours and you're not again the norm. You don't play it safe, where I feel like this person plays it safe and you're like, no, I kind of like to I like to be led by my heart. I like to be led by my spirit. I could never go off to a job that I don't like just because of the money, where your person could. But there's a sense of, again, where it doesn't logically make sense. And that's where the wisdom actually comes from. It's like, I didn't choose this person. The divine chose this person for me. And because there's a bigger reason, that's what both of you realize. Sometimes I stay awake thinking about you. And so I think that sometimes it's sexual, but I also think that sometimes it's just, I wonder what my life would be like with you. I try and imagine it because I don't really feel that this person really took the time to get to know you. That's really what it is. So they have to kind of imagine, but there's a lot of attraction. That's why I say this person wouldn't stick around for, like, again, for you to trigger them, obviously. If and they wouldn't be able to walk away if there wasn't attraction. Obviously, that's the catalyst. Now we will be together again. So this is what they feel. This is truly what they feel. So we have to ask whether we like to or not what this person did, how this person was triggered. And obviously whether they are going to be able to act differently now that this separation has happened. Avoidance. So there's a sense that this person, whenever there's a problem, whenever this person that has a false sense that relationships that are good are always perfect, that you never fight, that that they kind of live in a fantasy, like you said. So they don't like to look at their problems. They avoid them. And so because this person feels that you're the strong and I know how much you care about them, they're like, it's almost like they treat you the way that they treat themselves. So when you're like, why don't you like set boundaries? Why are you like taking everyone else's like what they need to do as more important? How come you don't consider my feelings? It's almost like this person is like, this is how they get in their own way. It's like there's a part of them that is like, I feel like I can't. And it's almost like because they're afraid to really get that deep on an emotional level. So it's their way of stopping it. And there's a part of you is that's like, how come you can do it for everyone else, but you can't do it for me? And you're not realizing how hurtful it is. And so again, the avoidance is that. It's like because they don't know. They don't know. They just know that they do it. So I mean, whenever there's a problem, this person, I believe that everyone has problems. And so if this person doesn't let you see their problems, they never let you get close. So it's a real intimate issue where they feel as if they need to be perfect. So there is a sense of them feeling like shame, needing to heal that. I also feel like when this person was a child and they were growing up, they weren't really allowed to speak their truth. They weren't really allowed to have an opinion. And so, they grew up in a family that everything was perfect, even though it was far from perfect. There were a lot of secrets. There was a lot of shame that came from the family. So that this person and it like grew up in the environment that no one ever talked about it, but everyone kind of knew what was going on, but they pretended that it was fine. So again, isolation, not really letting you in, which is the same thing as avoidance. Almost like I'll get to you. I'll like one day we'll have it. One day we'll have it. And then, like you said, that time is going by and you're still by yourself, because they're not letting you in. So they have to really, truly like let you see all of them in order for the relationship to work. There's a sense that no one's perfect. This person tries to pretend that they're perfect. And that's because, again, the shame that they grew up in. And that's the way that they learned how to deal. I'm going to pull one more. Trapped. I feel like this person feels not really trapped by you, but trapped by other people, trapped by their own choices, trapped by, again, like afraid to change. Like the thing is that the people that this person has around them is like that they trust, they have overgiven. And in the fact that they have overgiven, there's a sense that they feel trapped in those relationships where, again, they don't set the appropriate boundaries, and then you're the person that suffered because there's a sense like, well, you're strong. And it's like, well, I'm strong because you're not. It's like that's, and so almost like, well, you can take it. So let's see if we can go even deeper on this. I need to be strong in who I am before I can merge my energy with yours in the 3D. I'm afraid I could lose myself in this relationship. And that's because, again, there's a sense that they've never let you get close. And now we understand why this person doesn't have enough of their own identity. They don't have enough of, and that's what happens sometimes when we grow up in an environment where we were shamed. We take on that identity and also the behaviorisms that come from like being shamed. People that are shamed usually have reckless behavior. They also can have addictive behavior because it doesn't feel good to, not like yourself, to be embarrassed all the time of who you are and the things that you do. And now you're judging yourself from what you manifest. And I feel like your person has done this. And so relationships are not really good because they didn't have a good role model. And again, the environment that they grew up in, again, there was secrets. So they were taught how to deal with problems mainly from their caregiver. And so again, the caregiver didn't talk about problems. And it just acted like everything was perfect all the time. And so and then on top of it, this person is given too much to the people in their environment. So it's also those people in the environment really know who your person is. So there's a sense of they're a little bit afraid of those people because they can ruin their reputation. They could, again, this person is not strong within themselves and they admit that. So they're like, I haven't taken the time to really get to know you either. So you might turn into like who everyone else is. I don't trust myself and I have strong feelings for you. And I feel like for a lot, this person's highly sensitive. They're a highly sensitive person that can be an empath, but doesn't want to be an empath, doesn't know what to do with that energy. That's the difference between an empath and a highly sensitive person. Highly sensitive people, like all empaths are highly sensitive people, but not all highly sensitive people are empaths, as this person doesn't want to feel. It's like they don't know how to shut that feeling off. So what they do is they deliberately won't let you get close, strategize completely or 10 steps ahead, have eyes in the back of their head, always coming from place of survival. And the problem is that they identify love with what they grew up in, which was a hurt type of love. And so this person has only manifested hurt within their relationships. So there is a sense that they don't trust themselves also, which is why they don't get close. But they don't trust themselves because they also take on the energy of, what that person wants, especially when they have feelings for that person. So they're trying to figure out how they can like become strong within themselves so that they're not going to wind up in another relationship where they feel trapped, where people are able to manipulate them. And this also means within their regular relationships, like I said, they've done this. So in every single type of relationship, your person's like, I don't really know whether I can, have a normal relationship because that always like winds up, you know, uh, playing out where I'm really passionate and hot for the person in the beginning, and then I lose myself in that person's energy, and then I feel trapped. And then I have to do things that actually sabotage the relationship to get out because I can't express myself to actually say, hey, I need to take a break or to actually set boundaries. I always have to pretend that the relationship is perfect. And so obviously the relationship isn't perfect because there's a lot of problems within how this person has navigated the relationship. But nevertheless, they long to hold you and kiss you and touch you. And I feel like obviously we wouldn't change, right? Spirit is sneaky. It brings us people that we're going to be hot for. People that we're like, okay, maybe I can change just a little bit. You know what I mean? And sometimes for you, it means standing your ground. Meaning, like, if you're going to leave me out a part of your life, I can't be in your life half the time. You know, you have to let me in all of the time, you know, in order to have a real deep, intimate relationship. And that's sometimes you're going to show me that you're not perfect, and that's okay. But you may be someone that also feels like you need to be perfect, and that's why you're attracting this person. You know, spirit brings us people and situations into our life. And so you may be like, well, I am someone that really does like to, uh, you know, show that I am perfect, but maybe you're showing that you're too perfect for this person. And they're like, you know, intimidated also because you're making them feel lack. So sometimes when we only show the best part of ourselves, right? Only show the good parts and we leave people out of the ugly parts. And then we want to know why that when we get into a relationship with someone, it's like it plays out the way that it does. Because real intimacy means you're going to see everything. It's like you're not going to see me looking beautiful all the time. Sometimes you're going to be like, oh my God, like, you know, and sometimes you're going to say, oh, like, are you the stupidest person? And sometimes you might even say, I mean, you're going to see it all, but the whole point is you still love, even with the ugly. It's that you're the one that's abandoning those parts of yourself, not anyone else. It's the fact that you're not coming from your truth and believing that you can have it. Neither one of us is being honest right now. That's like being too perfect, being too perfect, not being allowed to be vulnerable. Why are we afraid to express ourselves? Well, we explained why. And so might be that, again, you grew up in a similar environment where no one talked about their problems, didn't talk about the dysfunction, didn't talk about the elephant in the room, just had to act like everything was perfect. Again, our inner children need to come first. So again, this relationship before anything is definitely a divine relationship, but it's one that is where spirit says you both need healing. You both need healing. That's why this person has come into your life. Now I want to look and see what are the inner child wounds? Why would you attract this person into your life? Because right now, even though this person has a lot of feelings for you, again, what it seems like is that the divine has made it so because it's like, hey, I want you to look at all this stuff that needs to be healed. So again, lies and secrecy, again, growing up and being taught that things need to be perfect. That, you know, we don't share, we don't air out the dirty laundry. We always pretend to be perfect. That we have to be, we're not good enough unless we're perfect. And to hide certain aspects of ourselves, which has made us detach from certain parts of ourselves. And this is what self-sabotage is built upon, those shadow parts of ourselves, because if we're trying to come from the shadow part of ourselves, then we're overthinking. And when we overthink, we become overstimulated. And when we become overstimulated, we get stuck and stupid. And we're also then have been wired to react from the wound, the experience where the original trauma came from. So if we were wired in an environment where we were taught to lie and have secrets and not really share parts of ourselves, then understand that, like I said, we're not coming from the true self, the higher self. And the higher self is that God part of self that filters everything through unconditional love. The ego part of self is what creates the self-sabotage, because then we overcompensate or undercompensate in our behaviorisms, where I feel like this person, again, they under gave. So they showed you that they didn't care. They didn't give enough. Again, they fought the connection. Again, you don't look right on paper. This isn't, again, everything needs to be perfect. I can't let you really see me for who I am. And that's how they self-sabotage themselves. But the self-sabotage always comes from, again, not believing in yourself, not liking yourself, and also coming from a place of survival. So emotional survival, psychological survival. These are very old wounds. And again, belittled. So not feeling good enough, feeling like there's something wrong with you. So again, feeling like there's something wrong with you because you're not living from your true self. You're not letting people see every part of you. Trying to be perfect takes you further away from yourself. And actually, there's then this perception that you can't be loved. That's why you're doing what you're doing, coming from that perception, but then you're creating that self-fulfilling prophecy of believing that you can't be loved. And I feel like that's what your person does, and where you attract people that are emotionally not available. So that's a way that you self-sabotage yourself. So, but here's this, connection that it really is based on a higher energy, which is forcing both of you to do the work, whether you want to or not. It doesn't mean that you're not pissed off at this person. And it doesn't mean that you don't have moments of feeling. If anything, you might feel like, well, 5 minutes ago I was happy. 10 minutes ago I was like wanted to rip their face off. About a half an hour ago, like you might feel a lot of different emotions, because again, this person has been brought into your life to awaken what needs to be healed within inside of you. And what that was is, again, always needing to be perfect. And so in this, you attracted someone that, again, always feels that they need to be perfect, but they are not on the same vibration as you. Their way is, again, to control. I feel like you really try to be perfect. And in this, your person really thinks that you are perfect, and they don't think that they can measure up to your standard. And really what Spirit is saying is, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be you, have more fun. Have more fun, you have more passion. And for this person too, what they're learning is they can't control love. They've tried to do everything, again, to manipulate the energy, to give less, to do whatever. And what they see is, I still have feelings. And so, and you're not someone that I would choose. You're not someone that looks, but it's almost like this person's looking for a loophole of why they shouldn't have feelings for you, and they can't find anything. And it's like, because they still feel what they feel. But nevertheless, where Spirit says, well, maybe you guys will be together again, because there is unconditional love here. However, right now, I want you to do the work, because whether you're with this person or whether you're not with this person, you're down there in physical form to learn that you're not separate from me, which is unconditional love. And both of you people don't have that. You both have wounds that you need to heal. But I believe in the separation, the love grows more, because both parties are thinking about each other, and again, and get to see, well, you weren't perfect. Well, either were you. And that's okay, because guess what? We still have feelings for each other. And you might not even be proud of the way that you reacted to this person because you might have gotten mad, been like, well, I felt like I had it right, but the way that I reacted. And this person is like, well, I'm embarrassed the way that I didn't give anything. It's like it's like I was coming from a place of fear. So we see what are they going to do? I tried to forget you, but it's not working. I always feel your presence with me. I'm magnetically pulled to you. That's what I said. It's like this person is realizing that even like, well, they can take the time to heal, but they're gonna wind up like just coming back because there really is love there. And I feel like love is patient, love is kind. Like you guys are learning that through each other, but it's also the relationship is helping you to learn to love yourself the way that you are, and this person to love themselves the way that they are. You don't need to be perfect. No one's perfect. Only God's perfect. We shoot for excellence. And that it really, we can display our excellence through our character of being strong. And I believe that that's what your person learns, and when they come back, they're going to be different and you're going to be different because you're both doing the work. I'm going to leave that there, Virgo. You let me know whether you resonated with this, and don't forget to write the word of the video in your comment bar, and just don't add any word because I look. So again, the word is resentment. All right. I love you guys. Thanks for supporting the channel. And remember to check out the description box if you're interested in any type of shadow healing or anything of that type of nature. Everything's in the description box. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.